Welcome back to Yo BikeBeat. The streets are alive with the sound of a small but unmistakable engine note, a rhythmic hum that's been the soundtrack of Southeast Asian cities for decades. That sound belongs to the Honda Wave, and for 2025, it's back in the 125 form with sharper looks, smoother performance, and the kind of practicality that has made it a living legend. Today, we're taking a long ride together, from the first glance at its design to the feeling it gives you in everyday use, and by the time we're done, you'll know exactly whether this new Wave deserves a space in your garage or under the porch, ready to go at a moment's notice. The Honda Wave has always been about honest mobility. No gimmicks, no frills for the sake of showing off. This 2025 model carries that same DNA, but there's something more polished about it now. You notice it in the sleek front cowl that cuts through the wind, the tighter body lines, and the way Honda has embraced subtle modern touches without losing the approachable vibe. The paint schemes are bolder, two-tone contrasts that pop in bright sunlight and still look sophisticated at night under city street lamps. The headlight cluster feels more aggressive, hinting at sportiness while remaining true to its commuter roots. If you've ever owned a Wave, you'll recognize it instantly, but it feels like it's been dressed for the modern era. Underneath that familiar shape is an engine that's refined for today's demands. We're talking a 124.9 cubic centimeters air-cooled, single-cylinder heart paired with Honda's PGMFI fuel injection system. This isn't about blistering speed, it's about a smooth, predictable delivery of power that's there when you need to dart through a gap in traffic or pull away from a stoplight. The 4-speed semi-automatic gearbox is as user-friendly as ever, letting you keep both feet planted when navigating tight spaces and avoiding the fatigue of a manual clutch in stop-and-go conditions. It's light in the hand, easy on the ears, and incredibly forgiving for new riders while still satisfying for seasoned commuters who just want something that works, day in and day out. Fuel efficiency is where the Wave 125 continues to embarrass many of its rivals. In real-world conditions, you can expect upwards of 60 kilometers per liter, sometimes more if you ride with a gentle wrist. That means you can go the better part of a week, maybe two, before even thinking about topping up, depending on your daily mileage. And when you do, the small fuel tank means the bill is laughably low, one of those moments that makes you feel like you're beating the system every time you fill up. In an age when fuel prices seem to be on a permanent climb, that kind of efficiency isn't just nice, it's essential. Riding comfort hasn't been ignored either. The seat remains low enough for a wide range of riders to feel at home, and the foam is tuned for city rides, soft enough to take the edge off rough roads without feeling mushy. The handlebar position keeps your posture upright, so you're not hunching over on long commutes, and the suspension setup strikes a balance between soaking up potholes and keeping the bike stable when you're leaning into a turn. Whether you're weaving through narrow streets, cruising a rural road, or carrying a passenger, the Wave maintains its composure. It's nimble, light on its feet, and never feels like it's fighting you. Practicality has always been the Wave's calling card, and this model delivers with under-seat storage that's genuinely useful. It won't swallow a full-face helmet, but for an open face, groceries, or your work essentials, it's more than enough. The analog instrument cluster remains simple and clear, with all the info you actually need. Speed, fuel level, and indicators, without the clutter of unnecessary tech that can drive up cost and complexity. Braking is handled by a front disc and rear drum setup, plenty for the bike's weight and intended use, and the feel at the lever is progressive and predictable. Living with a Wave means living without drama. It starts when you need it, rain or shine, hot or cold. It sips fuel, shrugs off abuse, and keeps going with basic maintenance. That's part of why it's not just a bike, but an economic lifeline for so many delivery riders, small business owners, and families. The 2025 version strengthens that relationship by offering a fresher style and the reassurance that you're riding something built with Honda's unmatched reliability record. Then there's the price, and this is where it really seals the deal. In markets like Thailand, the Wave 125i is starting around 40 to 44,000 baht, which translates to roughly $1,200. That's for a brand new machine that can last a decade or more with sensible care. In terms of cost-to-value ratio, it's almost unmatched, especially when you factor in the low running costs, the incredible fuel economy, and the resale value Hondas tend to hold onto. Riding it in a busy urban environment feels almost effortless. The engine note is subdued but pleasant, the steering is light, and the balance is spot on. You can park it almost anywhere, U-turn in ridiculously tight spots, and filter through stationary traffic like a knife through warm butter. Out on the open road, it will happily cruise at speeds that make intercity travel feasible, though it's not built for high-speed touring. What it excels at is exactly what most riders actually need: dependable, economical, no-nonsense transport with just enough style to make you feel proud when you glance back at it in the parking lot. In the grand scheme of motorcycles, the Wave 125 isn't about chasing adrenaline or impressing strangers. It's about being there for you every day, without complaint. It's the bike you can ride to work, to the market, to visit friends, and never have to think twice about whether it'll get you home. It's the one you lend to a cousin or friend and know they'll be fine. And with the 2025 update, it looks sharper, feels smoother, and stands ready to carry on a tradition that's already 3 decades strong. If you've been thinking about a commuter that won't drain your wallet, frustrate you with breakdowns, or feel outdated in a year, this is one of those rare cases where the safe choice is also the smart one. The Honda Wave 125 in its 2025 form doesn't try to be everything, it just tries to be exactly what it's always been: the right tool for the job. And in a world where reliability and efficiency are worth more than ever, that's about as cool as it gets.